Podcast City Network.
This is Brad Chandler, and you're listening to The Brad Chandler Show.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Brad Chandler Show. Please make sure to follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/Brad Chandler Show. And also, please make sure to check out my new website, www.bradchandlershow.com. A lot of cool things on there right now. It's very... I don't know how to say, but it's kind of plain right now, and I'm trying to work on that. So bear with me. Hopefully you find some good information on there. There's some great bands that I've been talking to. You can find information on those bands on the website. Talking about bands, I have the band Mourning from New Jersey. How are you doing, guys?
Very well.
Doing pretty good on my end.
Everybody over here sounds very, very excited. Very well. So I ended up reaching out to you guys. I found you guys on Twitter, and I was like, hey, what's going on? How are you guys doing? Blah, blah, blah. And I was trying to figure out how to get some music from you guys and listen and whatnot. I heard some stuff from you guys, really, really enjoyed it. And you got a guy over here that I have actually been friends with. We've been acquaintances. We'll say that pretty much for I want to say maybe 10 years. And I was super, super excited to hear that he was in another project. So you guys got a fan out of me before I even listened to your music, really. And once I ended up getting your music, you had a fan. I loved everything I listened to. I believe it was Bill that sent me all the music. Super fucking heavy. I really liked it. Just looking at your logo and stuff, you can tell you're going to be death metal. You guys, fucking thank you. Thank you for being on my show as well. So I'm going to ask some questions for you guys. You guys can tell me to fuck off or whatever. And, oh, by the way, you can swear on my show, obviously. I want to know how you guys started. You sent me your biography, kind of, and, I read it. The people that are listening to the show or watching, they don't know. So why don't you go ahead and tell them how you guys formed?
You want me to start it, Bill?
I'm asking you.
I'll go. I'll start it off. So first and foremost, Brad, thank you for having us on your show. Really deeply appreciate the kind words that you just gave us. That's fucking awesome, dude. Me and Bill actually known each other for a couple of years and everything. He was in a band called Blood Throne. We met through mutual friends. I used to go watch him play all the time and everything. Then eventually I went and moved to Ohio for about a year or so.
Now, why the fuck would you move out there?
I joined a band act there, actually. That's why I moved the fuck out there. And actually, I kind of liked it out there, but the job market just blew.
Okay.
So when I came back, me and Bill rehooked up and everything, and he just came to me and was like, that'd be around 2002, somewhere around there, 2003, somewhere in that time period. And he was like, man, you want to do a project? Because I got all these song ideas and everything. I had song ideas, and we just, ran with it.
So about 2002, 2003, you guys ended up starting a band. And so how did it come about with the rest of the members coming in?
In the very beginning, it was basically just a three-piece. Bill threw out an ad. I believe it was on Craigslist, right, Bill?
It was metalupdate.com.
And guy reached out to us, and little did we know that I was just an acquaintance, but him and Bill knew each other. It happened to have been JJ from Hate Eternal, the bassist from Hate Eternal.
Okay.
He was living in the Philly area at the time, and he kept coming up. You know, we practiced, we recorded the first EP, Blinded by Hate. After he decided he couldn't really do the travel no more, it was really just like basically like a revolving door of members. But but basically, as far as the current lineup, which I'm pretty satisfied, feel it's solid and everything. Jay just happened to have reached out, I believe, to Bill, or Bill reached out to Jay just to see, to get the footing in. And eventually, we just sat down, we jammed, worked on some of the older stuff. Then we put out an ad. We found, Chuck on bass and everything, who's been doing excellent as well and picking up and learning the material. And Pat, who's the newest member, as our vocalist, he's been coming on locked strongly over the last, bunch of practices. So, I feel this is like the most solid lineup that me and Bill have ever jammed with.
That's awesome to hear. And as I said before, I've known Jay fucking 10 years at least. And when I came across your guys' Twitter, and I saw a video of him, I was just like, fucking, oh my God, dude, he's alive. He's doing something, the last project I heard from him, I was a huge fan of, and I was probably one of those fucking, those assholes that like contacted them on a daily basis. But it made me happy to see that he was doing something. And when I came across you guys, fucking great. And Bill, I was it you that I was talking to through Twitter?
No, I've sent you the source in the bio.
Okay, who was the one that I talked to through the Twitter? Okay,
this fucking mongoloid.
All right, so I talked to you, and you were really cool about it and whatnot. And then Bill sent me, like I said, he sent me the MP3s and everything. And I was actually shocked that you sent me like basically everything you guys recorded.
Yeah,
and like
Jay suggested it.
Yeah, and I mean that's awesome. I love it, and I listened to it all. But I think I said something to you. Like, did you mean to send this to me? Like, did you mean to send me all of this? Because I don't want people just sending me the stuff like, hey, here's everything we have. I always only expect like maybe one song. So with your current lineup, do you guys have any like plans of going into the studio anytime soon? Are you guys writing? Are you guys just practicing on the old stuff, getting the new members all squared away?
It's pretty much everything you just said. Like, it took all this time to try to get everybody up to speed to the same spot, which was a little bit of a challenge because of like the time frame. Everybody kind of fell in or came into the project, and then figured once we get everything up to speed, at that point we should be solid enough to be able to move forward with new material, which would be a lot easier because then we would know how everybody worked together.
Awesome. And so what are your inspirations? Like I see a Death shirt. I see an Amon Amarth shirt. I'm pretty sure that I can't read your shirt. So
the Bathory shirt, man.
Yeah, okay, Bathory. I couldn't see it. It was all the way in the back. And
small.
He's already tiny. So no.
Yeah.
So
the department.
I do.
What are some of your guys' influences as a band? Like collectively, you guys like obviously have to have some similarities in musical taste.
That's a good question. Well, for myself, I know like I'm very into like Dying Fetus and go a little bit more old school. Like drummer from DSI was a big influence me from back then.
I feel like everything from DSI, like you go from like the early stuff, and then you like progressively go to their newer stuff. Their drummer just gets better.
Yeah, he's like a machine. He just keeps.
It's like the first album is like, it's okay. Second album is like, oh, okay. And then like it kept progressing better.
Yep.
But sorry to interrupt.
No, that's pretty much it for me, I think. I mean, there's a lot more. There's every drummer
obviously
has their own technique that's good that you got to look for and pick up on.
And the rest of the guys?
I'd say for me, huge fan of Cannibal Corpse, Alex Webster.
Okay, so are we talking Barnes or Corpse Grinder era?
I actually prefer the Corpse Grinder. I love the early stuff, but I focus more on the bass, guitars than the vocals.
Webster's such a fucking beast.
And like Steve DiGiorgio's work with Death.
Okay.
He was playing his fret lists. It's just amazing. I'm also an old school thrash head. So Dan Loker,
He's an underrated bassist.
Frank Bello,
Big time.
And of course Cliff.
Yeah, I was waiting because if you didn't say it, I was going to call you out.
No. Cliff is what brought me into bass.
Right.
Into playing bass. Like
I've tried playing bass before, and like trying to play some of his stuff. It's just like if you're not really a bassist, you shouldn't try touching it.
All right, I guess I'll go. So I liked some of the kind of Corpse Grinder, Cannibal Corpse era stuff too. And Jay's actually introduced me to Monstrosity, who I never checked out before. So I kind of like the vocals on that. But for me, the kind of vocal style I come from and really enjoy is kind of like the At the Gate style, old school sort of stuff. So kind of earlier on, like touching the melodic death metal sort of stuff.
Right.
I don't know. I just like kind of like the desperation sort of sounding stuff in the voice and that type of vocal style.
And Bill?
Big Even of North fan since I first saw her throughout the Nine Worlds. And then, one of my favorite American death metal bands is Nile. And I've seen them a bunch of times, and they're just heavier live than on their albums.
I think George is probably one of the greatest drummers alive.
Yeah, I think it definitely is.
Yeah, last I saw them was about 4 years ago when they played with Overkill, and that was just different without Dallas, playing. But it was a really good show. Like live, they're just phenomenal. But
yeah, they are real good live.
Yeah, but I also like a lot of black metal. I like Dark Funeral.
Okay.
I have one album from a band called The Black, but they're a good album band too. And then when I first met Mike, he introduced me to a band called Dawn.
Okay.
They're a good band. But influences on guitar, I started off on bass. Friends of mine from high school started a band. It's like, hey, we need a bass player. Okay.
Right.
So when I put Mourning together, I originally wanted to start playing guitar because I enjoyed writing more on guitar than bass.
Right.
So after
I could definitely feel that.
Yeah. But after the reason I started Mourning, because when I was in Bloodthrone, the drummer we had on at the time had to put himself on leave because he needed surgery, and I just wanted to keep myself occupied. And then wound up quitting them, due to personal reasons, and decided to fulfill this, with Mike.
Sometimes I still think it's the biggest mistake in my life I've ever made.
And what's that?
Joining Mourning? Joining up with Bill. I still think it's one of the worst mistakes I've ever made in life.
Then you met me.
Love you, Bill.
And how about you, Mike? What are some of your influences? You don't have to list them all out. I mean,
no, I know. That's why I got to sit here and go, because it's a list.
I know.
I'm big into thrash metal myself. Old school thrash. Like with the obvious, like the Exodus and Metallica, Megadeth, Slayer, death metal. First time I ever got introduced to death metal was Cannibal Corpse. But if you're gonna ask me which era do I prefer, it doesn't matter. You throw on a Cannibal Corpse album, I'm just gonna jam it out. Right. Death, my favorite band. As far as guitarists and everything like that, that's just way too long of a list to try and cherry pick.
Yeah. So here's a question for everybody out there. who was the first death metal band you ever listened to?
My very first one, or like at least the first couple.
The first one.
Mine it's either or. It's either Cannibal Corpse's Tomb of the Mutilated or Where No Life Dwells, by Unleashed.
Okay.
The very first death metal, I remember it clear as day. It was Tomb of the Mutilated by Cannibal Corpse. There used to be a store called The Wiz. I went Christmas shopping. My aunt told me, go pick a CD, I'll buy it for you. I said, okay. And I'm just going through everything. And I find the Uncensored cover to Tomb of the Mutilated. I'm like, oh, I'm fucking buying this, especially if it's got a song freaking, addicted to vaginal skin and everything like that. I'm definitely buying this. And when she didn't even look at it, she just took it, put it on the counter, and the guy that's checking her out looks at it, looks at her again. He goes, "You really listen to this garbage?" She's like, "No, it's my nephew." And I'm sitting there, I'm like, what, like 15 years old? I got a shit-eating grin on my mouth, like, yeah, that's mine.
The rest of the guys.
It's hard.
Yeah.
I know mine. I'm grandpa in this bunch. 7 gates. I mean, not 7 gates. 7 churches possessed.
Okay.
I'm old school death metal.
Yeah, you're old.
Yeah.
Grandpa. Your grandpa. You couldn't even remember.
Exactly.
Well, I'm just gonna say mine because I think mine's actually one of the most is kind of weird. So I used to listen to back in the day, it was back in the early 90s. I was listening to fucking the shit all over the radio. I was listening to fucking like MC Hammer and Vanilla Ice and shit like that. And then I came across Incantation. And when I came across it and I saw the logo and I was just like, holy fuck, this is cool. And then I listened to it and I was like, holy fuck, I can't even understand what they're saying. And then I went from listening to Incantation to Obituary, and those were my first 2 bands I had ever listened to that were death metal. And then I found Cannibal Corpse.
Yeah, now you said that, I remember mine now. Mine had like a little, I guess you would say a downward spiral, but I discovered Sepultura.
Okay.
That started it. And then I came across Obituary.
Yep.
And I met somebody who was listening to Deicide. So Legion was the first album I heard from them. And then it just went plummeting after that.
Yep. That's exactly what happened to me.
Probably happened with all of us.
Yeah, right?
Not having that like clean sounding vocals thing was like a whole other realm to me. Then I remember people that I was hanging out with at the time, because I was like 14, and they were like, how do you understand this shit? I'm like, I don't know, but I love this music. So I'm like,
I will tell you, the first time I listened to Cannibal Corpse and somebody asked me how I can listen to this shit, I was like, I can understand everything he's fucking saying. Like the first time I heard Stripped, Raped, and Strangled, I was like, yeah, I know exactly what he's talking about.
The worst was when I bought Autopsy's Fiend for Blood. I was reading the lyrics along with the music, and I'm still reading, and the song ended.
Yep. I brought a mixed CD to school one day, and it had Fucked with a Knife on it, and it had I Come Blood, and I was in my health class, and one of my friends handed me the CD, and my health teacher comes over and takes the CD away from me. He looks at the list of the titles on the song of the songs, and he's like, huh, Fucked with a Knife, that's gotta hurt. I Come Blood. Wow. What the fuck are you listening to? Like I'm in like 11th or 12th grade, and I got my teacher going Fucked with a Knife. It was probably one of the coolest like Cannibal Corpse type moments I had. So your vocalist back there is being a little shy.
Oh yeah, for me, my experience, I got a friend gave me like a mixed CD, and I listened to like a lot of Maiden, Priest, and Dio, because I know like operatic vocalist style. And then I got it was an instrumental track by In Flames called "Man Made God," and I remember it, and I was like, this is really cool. I want to check out this band further. And it was like, oh, I didn't know the fucking vocals were going to sound so heavy. And
right.
Then I was just like, kind of like these guys, like the sort of downward spiral, so to speak, just getting into
that rabbit hole.
Yeah, you need less guitar and more vocals, and just the drums were totally different. So, you know, it totally opened up a new door to sort of the death metal world.
Yeah, you know, I have to say, like, I've been the type of person that I'll listen to anything. And when I get online and I get my mind set to like look for something, I find it, and I will listen to every fucking song to a certain band possible. And like Bandcamp is probably my number one favorite site right now because you find so much shit on there for like unsigned bands or bands you never even knew existed.
Well, I remember this one time at band camp, I got fucked with a knife and then I came blood.
I squirted blood out of my butthole. Man, there's gonna have to be like an X-rated explicit on this.
As soon as you said band camp, that just popped into my head, and I was trying to hold. I held back the laughter so hard until I said it.
This one time at band camp, I stuck a flute in my pussy. What? So
You leave your cat out of this.
oh man, Jesus. All right, I'm leaving. I don't have a cat. What'd you say?
Check, please.
Yeah, really. You know, clean up on aisle 4. So I see you guys are. Is that your practice space?
Yeah.
That you're in. Okay, so I'm a guitarist myself. I play guitar. I have a LTD. I have 2 LTDs. I have an Eclipse. I have a Viper, and I also have a Les Paul. So I'm going to start with a guitarist because I am a guitarist. Sorry, bassist. No one cares. What do you guys play? I'm fucking with you, dude. I gotta fuck with you.
That's why I put my head
No,
down.
Chuck has a sense of humor. Chuck
If Chuck puts his head down and lower, he'll get a camera's view. All right, go ahead, Mike.
No, you go first on this one. You had me start with the history of the band. You go first with this one, you goon.
What gear do I
Gear.
use? I've got a LTD 7-string for the newer recording, and my main guitar is a Jackson and a Schecter backup.
And one guitar that never.
So are you B standard?
For the newer stuff, we're going to be splitting up between tunings. So yeah, be like standard tuning on the B, and then the Jackson and the Schecter we're in C sharp.
And Mike?
Right now in jam rehearsals and everything like that, tuned to C sharp, I'm using a Dean ML Dimebag tribute guitar with a standard stop bridge and everything. Hey, Bill, turn your head real quick. What's the brand amp I have on over there again?
Is it nope?
Nah. I actually got this Bill sold it to me a few years ago. I just got it fixed.
I have it's an AT100 head.
He's
No,
let me go check.
the name of it's right in the center on the front of the head, you mooks.
Oh,
It's a B52.
All right, so it's a B52 AT100 100-watt amp, all tube. The cabinet is a crate cabinet. And the only other guitar I use, which is in B flat, just like the more heavier Cannibal Corpse stuff, is I got a BC Rich Mockingbird NJ series.
And Jay, are you still using the same drums from your previous band?
Yeah, but things have changed a little bit on it. I have 2 kits. I prefer to play Tama.
Okay.
And I have my own setup as far as like a rack system I built custom. And,
Okay.
That just started off as a whim one day. I was trying to figure out something. The next thing I know, I'm like halfway into it. I'm like, yeah, I never thought I'd actually get this thing to work, but it did. But besides that, I like Soul Tone has been the cymbals I started using. I don't know if you heard that brand before. They're a little bit smaller company. But there was a guy who used to work for Zildjian, which is the other brand I originally used to use. Walked away from the company, I guess, and started that one. And Axis is what I use for pedals, and Evan's drum heads.
Now, do you use double kick or double bass?
Double kick or double bass. I'm sorry. I don't prefer to do that actually, because like when we go to the studio or you go to a place that has one kick drum and you're using that setup, I always find that the left side lags a lot even with the trigger. So like I try to set it so that side sets off faster, but still doesn't feel right to me ever. So I've always stuck with it. Yeah, it's a lot more shit to carry around from place to place, but I feel more natural at that. And actually, I have another kit too. I have an MRP kit, which is actually the same exact thing. Same setup. It's just the second kit, so I don't have to break down one and then put it back together. And
Right.
I feel like
bring it home and practice. And...
Yeah. So
we'll leave the bassist for last.
All right. Take the vocalist. What do you play? Skin flute?
Sure, SM58. That's pretty much the only gear I have. Just a standard mic.
Now, have you guys played a show together, like with this crew?
No,
Not yet.
Last April, I think Jay contacted me. Was it last April or April?
Somewhere around, I don't quite remember.
I think it was about a little over a year ago, and then when this bullshit with COVID hit last year, we had to take the 2 months off. So it just, all that's going on right now. It's just put, just about everybody, any band on a hiatus.
Yep. And what's your name? Chuck, the bassist? All right. Yeah, I guess we can listen to what you have to say now.
All righty then. I play Ibanez. I have Roadstar 2 from the 80s that I've been
playing. All right, that's enough from you. No, I'm joking.
And I got a little itty bitty Ibanez Promethean amp that is tiny but fucking powerful, kind of like me. It's like 300 watts and louder than this piece of shit back here.
Get out.
Sorry about that.
He's just mad because it's taller than he is.
Yeah, it is.
And so when do you guys plan on doing some recording with your new crew? I know we had talked about the fact that you guys have to get the old stuff down and whatnot. Writing material for the. I'm echoing through someone.
So me.
I blame Mike.
I'm blaming Mike too, because I just muted him and now I don't hear it. You're muted, Mike. You're muted. Yeah, what the fuck, man? Yeah, see, it's definitely Mike. Yeah, I muted you. Say that again.
When all else fails,
just go with the finger.
Yeah, it's the one language everybody knows. So with the current lineup, how is everybody doing with learning the material, and when can we expect to hear some new material with your current lineup?
Like Jay said, we're trying to get Chuck and Pat really up to speed, and like I said earlier, they're coming on very strongly and everything.
So with that being said, how long have you guys been in the band?
I came in Bill's mouth. Oh, sorry.
Wow.
Back in July, I think it was.
Okay, so you guys are fairly new.
They put up an ad and I just jumped on it, and I think Mike.
You jumped on what? Bill's dick?
Yeah. But
that was scary when he did that first day. I'm telling you, I thought Bill was gonna drop him like a bad habit.
And what, Mr. Vocalist?
I want to say August, maybe.
Okay.
Right. I think I was.
Yeah, that does sound about right. About since August, but I mean, Pat and Chuck are still fairly new, but they're coming along strongly. But even once we, at least we already have 3 of the older songs down, and once we get maybe 1 or 2 more, I presume. Then we're gonna go full blown writing new material. But even as we speak, we're putting pieces together. That way, it kind of stays fresh in our minds. That way, when we jump into it head first and gung ho, and then we could just go, raping little kitties and go full blown with it.
Wow, dude, raping little kitties.
That
Jesus,
I hope you mean cats.
keep the cats away from this guy. So this entire time, this past year, you guys, obviously everybody, not just you guys, but everybody's been dealing with this COVID bullshit and not being able to do much. And, your newest members joining over the summer. And Jay, did you rejoin? Am I correct by saying you rejoined at the beginning of the year, like back in April?
Yeah, basically. Yeah. Well,
Okay. So with everybody basically in this crew, except for Bill and Mike, joining the band this past year, have you guys been spending a lot of time practicing?
Yeah.
You guys been able to actually practice on a constant basis?
Pretty much it's been, I'd say, well, we've been pretty solid as far as practicing every weekend for a while, but up to that point it was every other weekend. So, it's been pretty solid.
Yeah, it took 6 months. We were doing every other weekend.
And the reason why I asked that is I know there's places out there that they're not even allowed to fucking leave their house unless they are going to work, bringing their kids to like school or going to the grocery store. Other than that, you have to stay home, and that shit sucks.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, definitely. I know it was like that, here in Jersey for like in the very beginning, and really the only way you can go to work is, with my job, you had to turn around and show a piece of paper that we were considered essential workers.
right. I had that exact same thing.
And, for the first, month or so, with the band, because at one point, it got worse and worse as the first few months. So it was like, like, how are we going to make this work? But we found a way, which is good. And like Jay said, there, in a way, some weeks we do it consistently week after week, but we always keep a consistency of bi-weekly, at least twice a month, and stuff. So, but just, like you said, this bullshit is just bullshit.
Yeah, it's very, very stressful. And you and I actually talked a little bit about it before we started recording. And the thing that like pisses me off the most, like you said, is the fact that like the kids aren't having their interaction and whatnot. So I definitely hope that all of this shit goes away soon and bands get to go out and start playing again. And you can, I don't mean to keep harping on it, but you could ask Jay himself about like the type of support that I show for the bands that I like. I will do everything that I can, not only to get you out there, push it so that people can listen to you or hear you or find you or whatever. But if you come and play a show up in Connecticut, I'm probably going to be there. And if you play a show anywhere in the area, I'm probably going to be there. And I'm a huge metalhead. And like I said, you guys sent me your music and I love it. I love it. I put your stuff on my website under one of my first blogs. So yeah, no problem, man.
Thanks a lot, man.
I am absolutely looking forward to seeing you guys in the future. And once all of this garbage just ends, basically that's how that is. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to get you guys to go ahead and plug whatever it is, your Twitter, MySpace, Jesus Christ, your Twitter, your Facebook, if you have a YouTube, your Bandcamp, anything like that. Tell everybody where they can find you, where they can listen to you, follow you, and whatnot.
Well, as far as Twitter, you can find us on Twitter at the handle MourningNJ666, which the handle address is at NJ666 Mourning. Jay really handles the Facebook page and stuff. I try to stay away from Facebook. I mainly deal with the Twitter. So at first you were talking to me through Twitter. And I remember when I got your message and you mentioned, is that Jay from Ominous? I called Jay and I was like, yo, Jay, this this dude is like asking about you, man. I don't, what kind of weird stuff you got going on here, man?
Right, why is some guy from Connecticut? That's just.
And then once I
listening to us
mentioned
for
your
the first
name,
time.
you knew exactly who you were and everything. As
Yeah,
far as
Instagram.
Mm,
As soon as I saw that video, I shot him a message. I'm like, "Hey, are you in this fucking band?"
and so that's us on Twitter. And as far as Instagram, you can find us at Mourning_band. And Jay can plug the Facebook page.
Now, do you guys have a Bandcamp? In all seriousness.
Yeah, we do.
Okay. I'll have to get with you. I'll have to find that site because I was looking for you guys.
Should be under Mourning Blinded by Hate.
That's probably why I couldn't find it.
You're probably finding that bubblegum pop rock band named Mourning instead.
That's actually the same thing for the Facebook page too. Try to keep it the same.
Mourning Blinded by Hate.
Yep. Because I don't remember when I was setting it up, there was like 3 other ones that had the same name. So
it was like the same thing when I was setting up the Twitter account. I tried using Mourning NJ Band, wasn't working. I was like, you know what? Screw it. Let me just try it like this, and it worked.
666. So, guys, I appreciate you guys coming on, talking to me, let me bullshit with you, make fun of your bassist.
That's okay. We do it to him every practice.
Get used to it, dude. You're the fucking bassist, and nobody gives a shit about you. Also, make sure that when you actually play a show, that the vocalist is helping, because I know vocalists that are out there that just like bringing their mic and they're like, "Oh, I brought something in."
Yeah, I've been in bands like that.
I'm not gonna lie. The last band I was in, we played a show where we had to go 3 flights up the stairs, and all I did was bring up my mic. I said, "Fuck you guys."
I remember one band I was in and stuff. We turned around, and I was always a big thing where everyone in the band, chips in and helps. If you're done bringing your gear in, help the other guys.
Yeah,
and the vocalist had a history of being like, "Yeah, okay, I'm just gonna go use the bathroom. I'll be right back."
Yeah, be gone for like an hour.
Meanwhile, he comes back and we already helped load in all the gear and everything. Like, where the fuck were you? Oh, I went to the bathroom and then I stopped at the bar. Really?
The rule of thumb: the vocalist should always help the drummer.
Yeah.
Yes, man. All right.
So, guys, I appreciate the fact that you guys came on. I definitely want you guys to keep in touch, and I look forward to hearing more from you guys. At the end of every show, I like to play the band that I have on's music, and I'm going to play Mourning the New Dawn by you guys. Do you guys have anything that you want to say about the song?
Nah, actually, this was like one of the first songs written for this album, even before the album was put into consideration.
And if I'm not mistaken, actually, I think it was even written during the session, in some partial way when we were doing the first CD. I think like the basis of it, you had showed me.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna listen to "Mourning the New Star," and I'll have you guys come back and
the new dawn. Not the new star, the new dawn.
The new star. The new star. My bad. I don't know.
Watching a lot of anime, aren't you?
It was porn. Anime porn. Mourning the New Dawn. You guys stick around. I want to talk to you just a little bit afterwards. We're going to end the broadcast after the song's played, okay?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Thank
man,
you.
no problem.
And Mourning the New Star. No, Mourning the New Dawn.